Hey YouTube, today I'm outside Bricktown accessing the internet as we're looking at bricklink.com. Hey guys, and welcome to Brick Talk TV. Terry here, and today we're looking at bricklink.com. This is going to be a quick walkthrough of bricklink.com and an overview of some of its features. We'll be doing a deep dive on wanted lists and how to use them in a future video, so hit the subscribe button now if you want to be notified when that video drops. So let's get back to the overview. Before we start though, let me give a quick shout out to some new subscribers to the channel. Make sure that you do subscribe to be notified of future videos. But a quick hello to Ramiro Jose Beraz, Rakesh Kumar and Berthil Van Beek, who is actually the designer of the mock that I've covered in a previous video about Friends and Big Bang mock. For those that have never heard or used Bricklink before, it's a reseller marketplace website, a place where you can buy retired and non-retired sets. You can also buy parts for your own builds, you can upload part lists, and you can get information generally on Lego sets on the website. The site was actually independent of Lego until 2019 when Lego actually purchased it, many thinking that this was due to Lego trying to understand its adult fans of Lego and how they shop and buy things. But since the acquisition, it's largely remained unchanged in terms of features. But there are some new features that are coming, and Lego have actually started an XP or beta version, which is currently running on the website alongside the main website, which you can access, and I'll show you that in the walkthrough. I myself haven't really looked at it in great detail and started to use the XP version yet. I've decided to stick to the older version. So for now, let's flip over to the computer and I'll show you the features and give you an overview of kind of things you can find on the website. So flip over to your default browser and in the address bar type in www.bricklink.com. This will take you to the main landing page, and then this is what the website mainly looks like. So this is going to be the current version until they flip over to the XP version. You've got the standard logo top left, which you click on to get back to the home page. You have a search bar across the top here, and you can search all items. You can search for catalogue items, so pieces. You can look for store items, you can look for store names, you can search the forum, and there's an advanced search. You then have a button to access the marketplace, which we'll go in a second. You have studio here, there's a community, and a login and register button. This banner here changes frequently, so it may be different when you actually access it yourself, but it's usually some sort of announcement that's happening. That's usually displayed here. Then as you move down, you can browse some Lego. So you can browse sets, parts, minifigures, or some mocks that people have. So these are the broad categories that you can search by. And then there's a nice trending items section here just underneath. And these are usually sets that are currently being searched or purchased through the website on popularity. So at the moment you can see that Fiat 500 seems to be quite a popular set, followed by Emerald Knight. And you'll notice that this rotates as well, but just by clicking this button down the bottom here, you can rotate through the next most popular sets that have been trending at the moment. This is quite an interesting view actually to get, because you might discover some new sets, especially as this website covers some historic sets. You might find some interesting ones you've not come across before, especially if you're new to Lego in general. So you can see like Darth Vader's bust here is currently liked by 434 people. It's going to cost you more than £117 at the moment as well. So that's what the price is. And you can change this here. There's a filter here, so you can order by trending items from minifigs as well. And then you can do it by parts as well. Then as you scroll through, there's this banner section here, which is actually talking about Parts Designer, which is part of the Studio software, which we'll talk about in a second. And then there's a shop in stores section, which is starting to highlight some recent feedback that people have had through purchases. And then there's just the standard footer, which gives you an overview. So let's sort of deep dive. So this, as I said, is a marketplace. So what you'll find here is lots of online stores where people are privately selling parts to one another. So people may purchase large sets and break those down into just selling the parts, or they may be going to specialist fairs and things like that and swapping parts. So this is just a way, if you're a Lego designer, to get some of your parts you require especially if you're building a city and you want to start building some of your own designs or adding to some of the landscapes or cityscapes you're building. This is the place you can come to start looking at purchasing some items. So what I'm going to do first though is I'm going to log in, because when you log in, this gives you some extra access to some extra items. So now I've logged in, you can see there's a My Store, My BL option and a Want item with your cart now. So to start with, let's have a look at the market. So within the market, if you click on the menu at the top, you can see it's divided by sets. There's currently over 16,000 sets available in the catalogue. You've got parts, you've got minifigures, there's some gear and some books. And you can look up some references, you can look at price guides, colour guides, inventory of sets. You can see where parts appear in, so what sets of parts appear in. And then there's a highlight of some stores in the region. So as I'm in the UK, it's currently telling me there are 971 stores, and there are currently 623 million parts or items that are stored within all of these shops. So if you clicked on sets as an example, this then gives you a category tree. So you can quite happily, if you know a particular set that you're interested in, you could actually look it up. So shall we have a look at, let's have a look at Stranger Things. So Stranger Things, you can see, is a category. There's currently 2 sets that sit underneath this. So if you click on Stranger Things, you can see you've got the upside down set, and this is the item number, so the set number you get. You can see that it's got over 2,000 parts, comes with 8 minifigures, and this is the year that it was actually released. And then you can see underneath here, there's also, you can get a Barb minifig, which was from the San Diego Comic Con 2019 exclusive pack. So this site is quite good. It doesn't just stick to the stuff that generally is released by Lego. There's extra resources available, so you can get hold of some of the more unusual figures that aren't on general release, as Barb being an example. So then if you clicked on this Stranger Things set, it would then go into great more detail. So you'd actually get some product images which you can enlarge, and then you can flick through. You can see there's the manual there, two books, and you can see the box. Then you get some general information on the right here. So as I mentioned, you can see it was released in 2019. There's the weight of it, the average size of it once it's built in centimetres. It can tell you it contains 2 instruction booklets. See the number of parts over here. You can see the number of minifigures, and you know that these are links. So if you clicked on these, it would then take you through. This will take you through to the actual parts. You can see all the parts, and you notice again that the parts actually do include sticker sheets as well. So it's not just bricks. You actually get all of the breakdown of all the items you normally find in the box. If I flip back, you can also click then on the minifigures, and it pulls out the specific minifigures. So again, you can order these separately. You don't have to buy them as part of a set. You can just buy them individually, which is quite handy if you're building your own Stranger Things type mock. Then you can also, there's some items here to add things to your inventory or to part out, or your wanted list. And again, I'll go into wanted lists in more detail on how I use them in a later video. I'll stick a card up on this video to link through once that's live as well. You can see there's co-branding here as well, so this one is also tied to Netflix. You probably see things like Disney for the Disney Castle and other license connections they've got there. Then as you scroll down, you can see the items for sale. So this is currently saying in anywhere, so it's not, you can make it location specific. So I could set this to United Kingdom if I wanted to, but let's keep it to anywhere at the moment. And what this is saying is you can actually buy this set from people that are currently selling it. So you can see at the moment you can just buy the car from the set if you wanted to. It comes with the stickers, but there's no instructions, and it's assembled. This shop is currently resided in Thailand. You can see this car would cost you £26.30, or there's the US dollar equivalent there. And you can see the name of the shop that this is actually selling this car at the moment. And this number here next to it is the feedback that this shop has got. So you can also, a bit like eBay, you can check what positive and negative feedback shops have had as well. So you can check to make sure that you're purchasing from a reputable source. And then Bricklink also gives badges to sellers, so depending on their feedback, maybe the number of sales they've had or how quickly their delivery is, they'll get these little icons based on that as well. Then the next one, you can see here we've got an incomplete with all the minifigures and accessories, but there's no parts or instructions, no box included in this, and this is the price here. So you can scroll through and see what's for you. So let me just give you an example. So if I actually wanted to restrict it by UK sellers, if I click the more options here, I can put the seller's location here and click a dot onto the UK filter. Then I can click search. As you can see here, there are two sellers. One is currently used and one is currently new, and it's sealed, as you can see here by this icon. And then you have the price. So you can see a used one is going to cost you about £160. This doesn't include shipping. I'll take you through how you get the shipping costs in a second. And you can see here that the minimum purchase you need to make for this store is actually £10. So this is fine usually if you're buying sets. But if you're starting to buy individual parts for mocks, you may need to make sure that you're hitting that threshold in order for the seller to actually warrant selling you the items. And then you can see if I wanted a brand new set, it's going to cost me £299.99, which obviously is probably far too much at the moment because I can buy it directly from Lego anyway. But you can see in the future, if you were looking for retired sets, that this would be quite an interesting way to acquire those sets. And in fact, let's do a quick search for a retired set. So I'm going to search for Barracuda. You can see when you do a freestyle search at the top, that you get an overview tab here, which gives you all of the results coming back for Barracudas. So that includes the gear, includes sets, includes parts that may include that word. You can get instruction booklets, so you can just get the boxes, and then also any minifigures that have that name in. And if you wanted to filter that, you could just click on these tabs and it would show you the specifics about everything. So if I just want to look at the sets, let's have a look for the Barracuda ship set. So we can see here that there's two types. There's three types in fact, because you've got the Barracuda Bay now. So this one is currently being sold as Lego Ideas. So we're not interested in that. I'm interested in actually the original Barracuda pirate set that was sold when I was a child. So let's click on this top one. You can see actually before I click on it, there's 4 that are currently being sold in a brand new condition, and that's going to cost me £1,195 on average minimum. If I want a used version, it costs you about £236. So let me just click on this set. So again, it's the same screen as we saw with the Stranger Things set. You've got the release year, which was 1989, so that's the year that I got it for Christmas. See the weight, the dimensions. You can see that it consisted of 846 parts, includes 8 minifigures, and if I wanted to add the individual parts, I could do that. There's also a note here that there's a similar set with a different number, which you may be interested in. So if Lego reissued some sets or did the next version of these sets, you'll also get a link through, a notification of that. So it's also worth bearing that in mind. So then as we come down, so I'd say again I just wanted to look at UK sellers of this. I could click the advanced options, click on the UK, click search, and I can see here that there's actually only one seller at the moment in the whole of the UK that is selling this item, and it's going to cost me £2,000 if I want that. So if I click the view option, this actually then takes me through to the seller's shop, and this is where you can start looking through and browsing individual sellers' shops. So I can see here that they're selling that, it's £2,000. If I wanted to add that to my basket, I could just add the one there, click add the item to my basket. It then takes you through to a checkout process. So if I clicked on checkout, I could accept the terms and conditions. It's always worth reading these in case they don't take back returns or if there's extra charges. You can see there's a shipping and handling cost that's to be decided yet. But if I'm happy with this, again, reminder, this doesn't include shipping and handling. If I just agree to that, agree that I want to use PayPal and I'm going to pay in British pounds, then I could decide my shipping method. If I want it first class, second class, if I wanted insurance, I could have that. And then I could place the order, which I'm not going to do at the moment because I don't really want to spend £2,000 on the ship. But then that's just the normal checkout process, and it would take you through to PayPal. But then if you wanted to look at the other items, you're free to browse this particular seller's items here by, so if I wanted to look at Series 19 minifigures, click on that category here, and I could happily browse through here and actually decide maybe, as well as the pirate ship, I wanted to add a couple of figures. So maybe I wanted the shower guy, and you can just add that as you would normally. And maybe I want the video programmer, just add one in there, and then just add them to the cart. And then that adds it to your checkout and your buying process. So this is quite a good way just to get access and start browsing. Typically what happens though is when I'm browsing individual parts, I'll have to find a unique part that maybe doesn't meet the seller's minimum buy threshold. So what I'll do is I'll add it to the cart through that purchase that you saw earlier, and then I'll browse the rest of their store, and I'll probably buy a couple of minifigures or something that I need for another build just to bump up the amount I'm spending to hit the threshold to enable me to actually purchase it. So it's quite handy just to bear that in mind as well when you're browsing through. So then let's flip back to the main part again. So that's pretty much the market. So that's where you can buy and sell items. It's easier to buy things. I've not really delved into selling things. If you do have a large inventory and you want to sell some items, you can go through and set your own store up, a bit like eBay. And you can list all of your inventory on there, manage it through an interface on the website, and then as people buy things, it ticks down the your inventory list, and then obviously you get a notification of the purchase. You'll get paid via the website or PayPal, and then you just need to ship it out. And then of course you get feedback. So once the person's received the items, they've got the opportunity to give you positive or negative feedback, as you'd expect in any sort of marketplace, similar to eBay. So you can build a relationship up with buyers through that as well. So if you've got a large inventory, or you want to sell some of your sets when you're getting running out of room, or whether you've decided to start thinking about stopping using Lego again, then maybe you can start selling some of your items through this marketplace. I will say that I find Bricklink quite good to get reasonable priced items. So when I started out originally looking for modulars to build my city, I sort of started collecting about 2018, 2019. So I'd obviously missed out probably 7 years worth of modulars that had gone through. So when I was trying to find some of the older ones, eBay has them, but they're usually quite expensive and are of inflated prices. So actually coming onto Bricklink was giving me more reasonable prices, so I started to purchase some of the items through that. So do use it as a way to compare as well when you're looking on eBay for certain items, because you'll probably find a cheaper deal on Bricklink. And you shouldn't feel afraid of using these. Touch wood, I've not had any bad experiences with buyers. You can pay through PayPal as you do with eBay, so you can always raise a complaint to get your money back if you wanted to do it through that way. And you can also raise an issue with the Bricklink website itself, and then there's ways for mediation through that as well. So let's move on to back to the website and flick through to Studio. So again, I'm going to be covering Studio in a future episode where I'll deep dive and show you this, but to give you an overview, Studio is Bricklink's digital building software. So similar to Lego Digital Designer, when Lego stopped supporting it, this Studio started to get more popular, and people now use it, and I personally use it now myself. It's free to download. When you download it, you'll get a desktop application that you can open up. It has pretty much all of the backlog of the parts available from Lego. It does continue to add some, especially as sets get released and more unusual parts come through. It adds to it and gives you an update. But it's great if you want to have a free canvas to have access to all the parts and to go freestyle and build it. And then you can build your own designs in a desktop environment, and I'll show you in the video that I'll do in the future how you can actually use that to develop some instructions as well, which you might want to sell in the future as well. So hit subscribe to be notified of when that video is going to hit, and I'll show you how to start off on the basics and move through to some advanced features on that software. But this is where you can come to download the software. In the application itself as well, you've also got the ability to upload your own designs. So here you can see where some people have started to upload some of the designs that they've done on their own computer. People can you can make these available. You can make them private, public. You can give these away for free, your instructions. Some people just use it really as a gallery to show off some of their work. If you wanted to get really serious about selling some of your instructions, I'd probably advise redesign.com, which is the website I use. Again, I'm going to do a video in the future about how you use that website and how you can monetize some of the instructions that you generate as well. Or even if you just wanted to give them away for free, you can do that as well. So I won't dwell too much on this, but this is going to be the place to come to download the software, and also this builders forum is a great resource once you start using the software to get some more Q&A and FAQ kind of answers around how to get going with the software. And then you've got a community tab here. So again, this is a typical kind of forum. You can ask questions, you can get help with some topics. They've got a marketplace category, you've got general help, you have a reference catalogue where you can ask questions about parts. You've got some suggestions you can make for the website, general Lego discussions, some off-topic conversations. And again, it's typical, you can post comments up there, get replies from other people in the community. So it's a good resource to also get access to. And I'd probably just highlight here that you should probably register for this website. It's free to register, you just have to give your email address, a couple of details. But then just to get more connections with some other people in the Lego community, this is a great way and resource to use to get some of that stuff. The next tab along then is your store. So if you did start to set your own store up, you click on here, you can check your orders, you could check your invoicing, and you can start adding items to your inventory, and you can check your inventory and what things you've got going on at the moment. Set your fees up, set coupons up, all that kind of interesting stuff, which I won't go into now because I'm not really using that yet. Then you've got your My Bricklink account, which again gives you your profile. You can see any messages that you get, which you normally get from sellers when they've shipped things, or if there's any queries or quotes that you've asked for people. You can see your activities, you can see your orders that you've placed. So at the moment I've got 3 orders that are currently outstanding, you can see here. Quotes, so you can actually, rather than going straight through and purchasing from some sellers, you can actually ask them for a quote. And this is, I use this mainly if I'm ordering from abroad. I'll ask for a quote to give me a shipping cost, because I'm unsure whether it's actually cheaper to purchase, say, a part from France or from the Netherlands than it would be to pay a slightly higher base fee and a cheaper shipping fee from a same part in the UK. So that's also good. So you get a notification once the person comes back with a quote to say whether you want to proceed based on the quote or not. So this is where your quotes are. Feedbacks, this is the feedback you get from being from participating on buying or selling things, and also you can then give feedback to others based on people you've purchased from, or maybe people that you have sold to. So similar to eBay in that respect. Coupons, sometimes some sellers give you coupons if you've given them feedback, so you'll get 5%, 10% discount, something like that. So you can see which coupons you've got available. So if I click on here, you can see these are some of the coupons I've currently got from these shops. As you can see, I probably spend too much, so I've got quite a few coupons there that I can get back. Then you've got general settings, so you can set your privacy details. You could set a picture about you, details in there. And then you've got general overviews here, just to give you some thoughts on where you are with this. Cart I won't really talk about, but this is obviously a shopping cart, so as you're adding orders you'll fill up the cart. And then this is the wanted list. Now I'm going to do a deep dive on wanted lists in a future video, but generally what you use wanted lists for is for where you're trying to gather parts to build something. You might have a big wanted list, a bit like a shopping list, so you'll know exactly what parts you want, so you can stick all of those in there, and then you can use that to find sellers that are selling all those parts for you, so you can do batch purchases through that. And also if you buy instructions from say Rebrickable or another instruction website, usually the person that's created the instructions will give you a list of parts, so you can upload that list to Bricklink and then you can use that to purchase the parts. So this is a great way, especially if you want to buy some parts to build things that have retired as well. So I've done that for things like the recent bus build video, which I'll stick a card up here for, and also for the Ecto 1 Ghostbusters car build, which I'll stick again another card up here, to get those parts rather than purchasing through the nose on eBay for the complete set. I just purchased the parts required so that I could build it on my own without having to get the instructions in the box. And I used these wanted lists to actually purchase those individual parts so I could do the walkthroughs for you. So I'll show you how the mechanics of that works in that future video, but that's generally what the wanted lists are. So that's generally how the current Bricklink website works. I'm going to quickly flip over now and show you what the XP version looks like, and you can access that by scrolling right down to the footer. Now a reminder that the XP version is now you've got Lego who's in charge of this website and owns it. They're looking at how to improve the user experience of this, and I think their focus is also about making this website work on mobile phones better. So it hasn't got a responsive website at the moment that changes its appearance based on tablets or mobile devices. It's just got this desktop view, which can be a little cumbersome, especially if you've got fat fingers trying to select some things. So Lego have now taken control of it, and they're trying this beta version out. So I'd advise you have a look at it, because they're asking at the moment, at the time of recording, for feedback from users. They want you to be engaged and give active feedback about what you think works. So now this is flipping over to the XP version, or the beta version. This is now Lego going through and redesigning it. So you can see that this looks like a much fresher design, at least in my eyes. It kind of looks, the lines look cleaner. I think the font looks nice. You've got this, the full width is being used here, and that's because Lego are trying to get now to a mobile responsive website, so that the website changes based on whether you're using a tablet or mobile phone. So you'll see that this is taking the full space now. So along the top, you've still got the icon there, the homepage logo. So you can click on that and get back to the homepage. You can see they've now collapsed the menu, and this sits in a hamburger menu. So if you click on this now, you can see that there's the menu that we used to get along the top on the old website for sets, parts, minifigures and studio, and the other sections here. But what you'll notice, they're using some iconography here now, which is really nice, because that's kind of things you start to appreciate on websites. So your eyes are quickly drawn to get into these right sections. Then the search bar is now a lot wider, so it's taken up more space, because that's probably the predominant area where people go to when they come onto this website. And you've still got your membership section here, which now slides in from the side, and you can check your orders placed. The wanted lists, see, it's a much better icon now, and you can see some bricks in there, and you can see all your wanted lists, and you can change the order, which is great. And then you've still got the cart as well, so I can still see all the carts that I've got created and whether I want to check out or not. You'll notice that the banner's disappeared as well, which is interesting. So now we've actually just got the sets, parts and minifig boxes, so you can quickly dive in to start browsing some of the categories here of the things that might be interesting. So I guess that Lego have realised people aren't really interested in the banners along the top, and actually they just want to get hold of the pieces and the sets that they want to order. So it's all about the shopping process on this now, and getting right to get the sellers onto the items they want to purchase. Then this section here is covering studio, so I quite like the icon is coming through now, so that's used on the desktop as well, and the font seems to be a lot crisper. And you can see the latest things, or the popular things that people have started to design on a carousel, so you can click through and see more creations if you want to. Then this section seems to be new, so now they seem to be pulling out today's hot deals. So where some of the sellers are putting some offers on some of the sets, they're actually surfacing those, and they seem to, I'm guessing this is on my location preference of the UK, so I'm seeing a lot of great deals that are happening in the UK, and I wonder if it's ordered then by percentage off, because this is 47% off apparently. And you can scroll through and you can see the percentages dropping here. So this is interesting. This is going to be quite handy to get some good deals rather than having to be buried in the actual shoppers sites. So that's good. Then you can see recommended for me based on popularity by look at. So I mean, I've actually got the cafe corner, so I don't need to be recommended that, but Bricklink don't know I've got that. Well, they probably do now. But I have actually been recently looking at the Imperial Shuttle, which is interesting. So that started to come through. And I also started to look for this Imperial Star Destroyer, so that's started to feed through as well. So this is interesting to get some recommendations. This will be particularly good, I suppose, if you've recently come to Lego after a while, so you might have missed out on a couple of sets, and so this might bring some of those to your attention if you've missed them in periods gone past. And then you can see some new things that people have started to look up as well, and started to add to their own shops. So these are new parts that are coming through, which is interesting. It might catch your eye. And then there's some recently viewed items, which, as we can see from the last section, we looked at the Barracuda, and I'll click on that in a second to see how the layout's changed. And then you've got the standard banner at the bottom there, just to give you the footer info. So if we scroll to the top, let's have a go at this search and see how search has changed. This is interesting. So it's showing me recently searched items, so the Barracuda's there, and then it's actually got the trends. Again, this is quite interesting because you can start seeing what people are searching for and what's popular. Maybe again this will bring you some attention on stuff that you as a buyer haven't found before, or as a seller maybe it will give you some insight into what things you might want to stock in your shop based on what people are searching for. So let's have a look at the Barracuda then. I've already got a recent search here, so I'll just click on that again and we can see how the comparison of the layout changes. So here you can see straight away the tabs have disappeared. So instead of having categorizations by sets and parts now or minifigures, it's actually done by facets down the side, so you can filter what you're particularly looking for. But up front it gives me the sets again. So let's click on the Black Sea Barracuda set here, see how that looks. So similar again, but it looks a much fresher design here. So you've got your product photos, which we're used to. They've now seemed to have moved the set information though underneath instead of alongside it, and you can see the parts, the minifigures. They've actually now got the pictures of the minifigures, which is great. It gives it a bit more interest, which you didn't get before. You had to click through to that. And then you've got an option here to put some comments, leave a review, put some instruction information there with somebody browsing it. And this one's interesting, so it's telling me, it's actually given me the recommended seller for this without me having to go through lots of sellers, and I can actually add it to my cart directly without having to go through to Katie Bricks and Minifigs. I can change the quantity. You can see it gives me a note from the seller that says it has some more wear, they only ship to the UK. I can click on that for more info. Got the store terms and policies, and I can add it to a wanted list if I want to. If I change the condition here, look, and go to used instead, actually it's loading again now, so it's probably pulling back. Yeah, see, so now I've got a seller from the Netherlands, and it's saying the best one for me is going to cost me £236 for a used version of this set. And I wonder if it's doing that on the best deal for me based on price, because it would be interesting to compare once you've added some shipping costs and things like that, whether this actually gives you the cheapest deal or how you actually then find other sellers from that. So you can see here all listings. You can look at 7 other international sellers here for that item. So that's interesting. This layout looks quite nice. I'm quite pleased with that. So what I'd advise is, yeah, as I said earlier, really taking a look at this XP version and giving some feedback. There's an option down the bottom here to give your feedback, so you can get some early sight into what Lego's vision is for Bricklink and having some input into how they shape that in the future. But for now, let's just flip back to the studio and we'll summarise and close this session. So that's the overview. It's also worth noting that other websites similar to Bricklink are available. So if you're interested, also check out brickowl.com. It's another website that I use now and again. I'd love to hear about them in the comments below if you use any other type of websites. But I find that Bricklink is packed full of good resources for Lego builders. It is my go-to website for most things, so I'd recommend you sign up for free and see how it can help you with your builds. And I'll be covering other features in more detail in future videos, as I mentioned before. So hit the subscribe button and hit like if this was informative for you, and you'll get alerted through the subscription for future videos to do with Studio and Bricklink wanted lists. Links to the resources mentioned are in the description below. So until next time, stay safe and I'll see you then.